Wisdom, the film review, tomorrow at 5:45 on the BBC News Channel.
What happens in the event of a no deal on Brexit? The government publishes its first detailed advice on finance, medicine and farming. Companies are being warned about extra red tape. Consumers are being told they could face higher credit card fees if Britain crashes out of the EU without a deal.
It is not what we want, and it's not what we expect. But we must be ready. We have a duty as a responsible government to plan for every eventuality.
I thought the proposals were bland, thin on detail, thin on substance, and I don't think they're going to reassure anybody.
We'll be examining what it would mean for business, families and individuals. Also tonight, jailed in Iran 2 years ago, Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe is reunited with her daughter after being temporarily released for just 3 days.
We've had so many sort of dashed hopes and false dawns and, and I had heard rumours that this might happen and I didn't believe them.
I got a 6 in English!
GCSE results are out and there's a slight rise in the pass rate for exams in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. The lost generation of Rohingya Muslims a year after they fled from Myanmar to Bangladesh. We have a special report on their plight. And guilty, the gang who posed as rich businessmen and hired a private jet and a Rolls-Royce to smuggle more than £40 million of cocaine into Britain. Good evening. With 7 months to go before the UK leaves the European Union, the government has moved to allay fears over what happens if no deal is reached with Brussels. It's released the first raft of papers offering advice to businesses and individuals and setting out the government's preparations for any impact. The Brexit Secretary, Dominic Raab, says it's unlikely that there will be no agreement, but ministers still have a responsibility to plan for all outcomes. Today's documents cover a wide range of potential issues, among them concerns that consumers would face slower and more costly credit card payments when buying EU products, and British citizens living abroad could lose access to their bank accounts and pensions in the UK. Businesses exporting to Europe may have to renegotiate contracts to reflect customs and tariff changes and hire additional expert staff. And new medicines coming into the UK will have to be checked as drug companies are told to boost stockpiles. But there was little in the papers on the contentious issue of trade. The record-breaking Mark Johnson. That is almost it from us. Newsnight is about to begin over on BBC Two in a few moments. Here's Mark Urban with what's in store.
Tonight, the government's raft of planning notices for a no-deal Brexit. Reassuring or scary? We hear from those in industry most affected and Brexiteer-in-chief Jacob Rees-Mogg. Join us now on BBC Two.
Meanwhile, here on BBC One, it's time for the news where you are. Good night.
Hello and welcome along to Sports Day. I'm Sarah Mulcairns. Your headlines tonight.